Now let us go to something as input by like using certain numbers and then using certain values in the program. Okay, and not just printing. So what we are doing, we will do some input, we will do some calculation, and then we will do some output. You understand one thing, right? To calculate anything you need the inputs, right? Until and unless you have the input you cannot calculate, and until and unless you calculate you cannot give the output. Okay, so let us go here. So there are various ways of taking input. Okay, so there are various ways of taking input. So right now we are in direct input. Okay, then we will have functional argument. So for from the user, scanner class from the user, buffer class from the user. Okay, so these are your main ones. Okay, so direct input just for a beginner level we are trying to teach. Cool. So how we are trying to take a direct input here? So what we are doing, we are checking here that we have to write a program to input two numbers and add them. So anytime that you get a program, right, what you have to first see is what are my inputs. So your inputs are two numbers. Now these two numbers you have to take directly, you have to take by yourself. So you took this number as 2, this number as 5, but you know that you have to store this number somewhere. And where do we store numbers? We store in a variable. It has to be stored in a variable, then only you can use it, right? So you will have a variable called a, you will have a variable for b. You can name this variable a, b. You can also name it as x, y, no problem. You can name it as r, a, b, a. No one is stopping you. Okay, anything you can name it. Okay, but your naming convention should follow the rules that we had discussed. Okay, also anytime variable that you name, you have to also give what kind of variable it is. Of course, if you bring a variable, you have to declare that this kind of a variable it is. It is an integer variable or char variable or double variable, so that the compiler knows how much size it has to keep, how much size it has to assign for that variable, right? So that your values can go inside that size. Okay, suppose it is an integer variable, then it will assign certain bytes. If it is a double variable, it will assign 8 bytes, right? Stuffs like that. So okay, 4 bytes, 8 bytes. So this is why you need to declare each and every variable. So first my line is that I am taking a value for a as 15. So in maths you write a as equals to 15. You cannot do that here. You have to declare. So in front of a you have to mention that this is int a. Similarly, I have int b as 23. And now you understand one thing. Since we already have a and b. Okay, so since we already have a and b, what we have to do, I have to do the addition of these two. Okay, so what I have to do, I have to add, and important thing is I have to add and store this value somewhere. Why I have to store this value somewhere? Because only if we store, then we can print that value. Okay, we can print that value later, good, by using this variable. That is why we have taken another variable called sum, in which what I am doing, I am adding both the values a plus b. So this is my input part, this is my calculate part, and this is my output part. In output, what I am showing, which is my first number. This is my first number is a, my second number is b, and so the sum of both is sum. Now important thing that you can see here is something called as this plus symbol. So this plus symbol, what it does is, as soon as the plus symbol is encountered, the compiler goes to the variable's memory location. As soon as this plus symbol is in, this means address of what? Address of a. So whatever is the address of a, it will go to that place, and whatever value is stored in that place, it will print that value. So what will be your output? Your output would be something like first number equals to, till here you have a semicolon, right? Whatever you write inside these two semicolons, inside these two quotes, everything will be printed as it is. So this is your kind of a message box, whatever message you want to display for the user to understand. So suppose I just display a, then 15 will come. The user will not know which is this, what is this. So we have written first number. This is the first number. So the first number is equals to 15. Then line will change because there is an ln. Second number, so second no is only there, right? So second no will be 23. And then I have written sum of both is equals to sum 38. So this will get printed. And one important thing that you are seeing, that every line is getting terminated by a semicolon in the program. So semicolon means not terminated, semicolon means after that the compiler feels that it is the next line. Okay, so what it means, this particular line you can write here also, no problem, but since it is a semicolon, it will understand that this particular part is now a next line part. Okay, cool. So these two we understood. So what we understood? We understood one system.out.print and println difference. Here we just printed certain details by itself, and here we took some input by using some variables, and then we calculated. So we understood that for input taking we need some variables, for calculation we need some variables. We need to declare these variables data types. We need to declare the calculation variable data types, and we also understood how to give the output using these variables. How to give the output using these variables. Okay, so this one was complete zero label. Next we will be understanding how to take input from the user, okay, in the next lecture.